Chapter 1. The Tale That Shimmers Like Dawn. Far beneath the waves, the city of Abira stretched across the sea floor, glowing like a reef come to life. Coral towers spiraled upwards, streets of polished shell winding beneath them. Merfolk drifted past glowing signs and floating market stalls, pet seahorses tugging gently on coral leashes. Silver fish darted through arches, jellyfish hovered like lanterns overhead, and far off, the low pulse of whale song echoed through the currents. Abira breathed with the tides, an underwater city that never stood still. Endless, restless, alive. Megan Foreman drifted with the crowd, just another mermaid carried by the current. Except she wasn't. While every other tail shimmered green, hers flared pink at the fins, deepening to purple as it curved toward her waist. Too bright, too obvious. She kept her head low, willing herself invisible. But her tail betrayed her. It sliced through the water like a signal. Eyes lingered. Whispers followed. "That's her."
The mermaid with the strange tail.
"Not like us." The words slid past Megan like cold strands of seaweed. Familiar. Heavy. She slipped toward the coral walls, letting the shadows close around her. Beside her, Kalen swam without a sound, an octopus moving like smoke, his limbs trailing behind him, vanishing into the reef. His skin could change, his shape could shift, but his eyes, green, bright as sunlight through water, never looked away. He was the shadow at her side, and shadows never left. She exhaled slowly, bubbles curling up toward the surface.
"It's worse today,"
she murmured. Kalen brushed a tentacle lightly against her arm. "Let them talk," he said softly. "Currents change. You will outswim them all." His voice was calm, certain, the one thing steady in a world that kept shifting beneath her. But still, the water felt off. The currents twitched, fish darted too fast, and even the coral seemed tense, as if the whole reef was holding its breath. Above, a cluster of older merfolk floated close together, voices low.
"Cracks showing again."
"Tides don't feel right." "Council won't admit it." Megan pushed upward, her tail flicking gently, but the tight feeling in her chest didn't ease. Something tugged at her, not just from the city, but far beyond. Beyond the reefs, beyond what she knew. A faint tremor whispered through the water. Megan halted mid-stroke. The shift was slight, barely there, but enough. Enough to make dust lift from coral arches and curling clouds. Enough to send tiny pebbles skittering across the seabed like beads on glass. The very bones of the city seemed to shiver. Around her, merfolk slowed. Conversations faltered. Fins flicked nervously. The current itself felt stretched thin, tight as a drawn breath. And then the sea broke. The ground roared beneath them. A low, deafening crack splitting the silence. Coral towers trembled, their spines splintering down their lengths like lightning scars. Pillars convulsed and collapsed, hurling chunks of stone into the streets. The seabed heaved, sending waves of debris surging through the avenues. Shattered shells, broken banners, fragments of reef spinning in the wild current. Fish scattered in frantic spirals. Market stalls tore loose. Seaweed banners whipped violently as currents collided, clashing, folding in on themselves. The city twisted, buckled, screamed. Abira unraveled. And at the center of it, amid the storm of collapsing stone and swirling wreckage, Megan stood still. Not frozen, not afraid. The chaos tore past her, but she felt something deeper beneath the destruction. A pulse beneath the roar, low and steady, as if the sea itself spoke through the quake. And it was speaking to her. The world cracked, The city crumbled, and she listened. Something deeper stirred inside her. A pulse, strong and certain, resonating in her chest like the heartbeat of the sea itself. The quake didn't just shake around her. It shook through her, as if the ocean's voice echoed in her bones. She raised her arms. The currents obeyed. Twin spirals of water coiled upward, glowing bright, pink, violet, blue. Spinning high above the shattered city, columns of bioluminescent light burst from the seabed, casting everything in shimmering color. And then, slowly, the wreckage began to move. She reached out, quietly, invisibly, and the broken coral lifted. Pieces floated back to their foundations, fitting together like fragments of a puzzle. Cracks sealed beneath her will, stone smoothing over as if no fissure had ever existed. Shattered shells reassembled, banners unfurled, seaweed strands drifted back into place. Fish calmed, gliding once more through arches now whole again. Everywhere, her magic worked. Everywhere, damage reversed. The tower stood tall, the pillars held strong, the streets cleared. Debris dissolved into light and color. The city glowed, untouched, as if the quake had never come, except for the pulse still vibrating faintly in the water, in the air, in her. Around her, the merfolk floated silent, eyes wide, the currents hushed. At the center of it all, Megan hovered, her tail spiraling ribbons of light, the sea bending to her will. Abira breathed again, whole. The water stilled. Then came the sea turtles. 3 of them, the spiral chorus. They shimmered into view, glowing blue-green, their shells catching the faint light. Without a word, they circled Megan, moving in a perfect spiral, the pattern tightening, pulling the current around her like a spell. Their voice echoed, not from their mouths, but from everywhere at once.
You have awakened more than you know.
And before she could breathe, they were gone. Silence hung heavy. Eyes clung to her. Then the murmurs came, hushed, breathless, disbelieving.
She stopped it!
No, she fixed it. The quake listened. The city listened.
Megan's heartbeat pounded loud in her ears, louder than the whispers swirling like currents around her. She couldn't face them, couldn't bear the weight of their stares, the questions unspoken. Before anyone could reach for her, before the voices could rise, she turned, tail flashing, and fled. Darting through the arches she just restored, leaving the stunned merfolk frozen in her wake. Kaelin was already beside her, steady, silent, following without a word. Behind them, Abira shimmered, unbroken, watching. She didn't stop until the city blurred behind her and the reef edges stretched out ahead. Her hands trembled, her breath came quick. The words of the spiral chorus circled in her mind.
You have awakened more than you know.
Megan stared past the reefs, toward the dark water beyond.
They're going to fear me now,
she whispered. Behind her, the city stirred, but nothing would ever be the same.